Okay, guys, hello again. So it was the tension after all. If you remember my last video, I said my tension was off on the sewing machine, and I could tell because the bobbin thread was bumpy on the bottom. And so what I had to do was adjust my tension, and now I've got a great stitch on the top and on the bottom. So another Sew Constructive tip is make sure that you are getting the proper stitch on the top of your fabric as well as on the bottom side. If it feels bumpy on the bottom side, you need to adjust your tension more than likely, okay? So I've done that. I'm going to go ahead and press my seams to relax the thread. And then I'm going to drop it into the circular skirt and give that a good press. And we'll see where we go from there. All right, so let me just show you a little bit about what I'm doing. I've got the circular skirts, the underlining and the skirt itself. So this is the circular skirt here. And what I'm doing is I've already gone and pressed the seam flat here. And so now what I'm doing is opening it up here. Let me back up a little bit. Opening it up here. And I'm just going down the middle of the seam. I'm not going to press it completely flat because what will happen is, now there is a trick to do to preclude this from happening. However, I don't have that little cardboard trick. But what you can do is place a little piece of cardboard on this side and lay it flat, and then press it as flat as you want, and it won't leave marks on the other side. I don't have that ready to use. Let's see if I can use this as an example. No, can't use that as an example. I don't have that ready to use. So I'm just showing you here. So what I'm doing is just taking my iron and going down. It is hard when you're looking in the camera. Going down the center of the seam without laying it flat. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now. After I've done that, I will attach the underlining to the circular skirt. All right, so I've got the circular skirt steamed and, ironed. I'm going to add a stay stitch on this. I'm going to add a stay stitch on this opening here for the circular skirt on the underlining because I let the fabric rest and hang overnight, and I'm thinking it would be wise to do the same with the lining, the underlining, just in case. I don't know that there's going to be any bias that drops out of it, but if in fact it does, then I'm going to give it the opportunity to do so. All right. My table is bouncing just a little bit. Come on. So I'm just adding a stay stitch to keep the cross grain from stretching out. And plus it is cut on the bias at the opening as well, along with the hemline. So you want to do what you can to stabilize that part. Let me just go ahead and let this hang overnight. Hadn't planned on that. That kind of puts a bit of a wrench in my game plan, but the end result will be better, so it's just better to do that. Maybe let's see, yeah, All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that. I feel like I'm rushing now a little bit because I wasn't planning on needing to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and pin it to the skirt, the circular skirt on the inside, and then I'm going to hang it up on my steamer hanger. Just let it rest overnight and see if there's any difference in the hemlines. And if there is, and then I'll need to adjust those hemlines because my plan is to, as I said before, if I'm going to add horsehair braid to the bottom of the circular skirt, then I need to be able to adjust this underlining. Or if I'm going to attach the horsehair braid to the fashion fabric and the underlining, then I need to know how far down, my camera's crooked, I need to know how far down the underlining hem has fallen. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. Okay, so I am attaching the underlining to the fashion fabric. I'm going to baste them together, hang them up together, and let this bias, if there is any, fall out of the underlining. Okay, that's where we're at. So I'm just making sure that all of my notches and side seams meet up. And then I'm going to do a basting stitch, run a basting stitch inside the stay stitch, inside the stay stitch, because that's not going to show in my fabric when I get ready to complete the dress. So I'm going to go around here and do that. Okay, see, I'm just going to sew. This is my fashion fabric. This is my underlining here. Okay, I know it's hard to see with, let me see if I bring some light over here. That probably makes a big, let there be light. I'm sure that makes a big difference. So I'm going to continue to go around here and pin it together. And then I'm going to do a basting stitch, hang it up, and we'll move on to the finishing or laying down those seams on the bodice top, on the bodice, so that I can add my lace back on there. And then we will place our order to Etsy so I can get some more of that lace. Probably takes about a week and a half or so to get it, maybe 2 weeks. So that's going to be a few minutes for me to get that. All right, so I've got this pinned here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to add it to the middle skirt yet. So I'll just have to do what I can while I'm waiting for this to level itself out. Okay, like the souffle. You want the souffle. You don't want the souffle to fall, right? Well, I don't want I'm going to go ahead and do the fashion fabric on top and the underlining on the bottom. So I don't want I want it to fall out so that it is not hindering the rest of the garment. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're just making it work, y'all. I'm not really from the South. I'm from Washington State, but actually I was born in Hawaii. My husband says to stop saying that. But I was born in Hawaii, but I was raised in Washington State. So There we go. All right, so I'm just going to run a basting stitch here on a half, right inside this stitch that I've already ran. Okay, so now I'm treating both pieces as one. I'm treating the circular skirt and the underlining as one piece. Okay, we're just going to keep going around. You are going around in a circle, so be mindful of how your fabric curves, and make sure that you are lining up that curve with the seam line that you're stitching on. It is just a basting stitch, so it's going to come out, so it's not that big of a deal, but you don't want to run into your fashion fabric, because sometimes when you stitch into your fashion fabric and you leave a hole or you pierce it with your needle, it doesn't go away. So that's what you want to try not to do. That's why I'm sewing inside the stay stitch instead of on the outside. Hope that makes sense. Let me show you what it is. Let's see. Oh my goodness, am I? All right, so this is what I'm doing here. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. I'm sewing inside the stay stitch that I've already added here. Okay, just right inside of it on a 4 length. So it's a basting stitch. I'm going right inside of there. Okay, and that is just to keep the pieces together working as one. It looks like the battery on my phone's about to die, so I will pick you up later.